Hello YouTube, what is up, Eroktic here. In today's video I wanna talk about Scavs in the Escape from Tarkov. So what is Scav? Scav is a short term for the scavenger and they can be played by another player, but in the most cases they are AI. The AI stands for the artificial intelligence, which means it is controlled by script. I have seen a lot of posts on the Reddit and on the forum about how Scavs in current patch are way too overpowered, and I have a few statements that I wanna point out. Let's talk about Scav behavior first. So basically, they have a spawn points, and they have waves. Whenever the round starts, the Scavs are gonna be spawned on a random location. Which means, when you start another match, that does not supposed to mean that you're gonna find the Scav on the exact same location. But for example, if you take Costumes map, you're gonna know that the Scavs are spawning close to the end of the bridge, on the bridge, in the dorms, next to the cabin, in the gas station, and all the way on the opposite side of the map, next to the roadblock. They're gonna also spawn in waves, which means every round starts at 1 hour and 30 minutes, and when the first player starts to play the map, the timer starts to run out. At a certain point of time, the new Scavs are gonna spawn, and they're gonna be harder and harder. And on the last wave, I think the last wave is on 1 hour, fully geared Scav is gonna spawn, and it is gonna be really hard to kill him. Now let's talk about their aggroing system. As you already know, in the Escape from Tarkov, sound system is really important. Scav is gonna hear your movement and then you're gonna get aggro. If you stay quiet for some time and they cannot hear you or see you anymore, the aggro system is gonna reset. They're gonna act like nothing happened. Which means if you shoot and shout, they're gonna hear you and they're gonna try to find you. This is one of the ways how to get aggro so you can kill them from the camping spot. And of course, if they cannot find you, when they're not aggroed, they're gonna keep talking all the time. And this is the classic system of aggro system in those kind of the games. Sound system in the Escape from Tarkov and the aggro triggering from the Scavs works perfectly. Nothing wrong with that. The Scavs of course are not blind and they can spot you really easy, but the problem starts to kick in with the sighting. From my experience, the sighting in the Escape from Tarkov is really terribly built. The tolerance of their sighting is way too small. I still experienced few times, for example, in the Costumes map in the dorms, I was on the second floor and the Scav was on the ground floor and he was shooting me through the floor. First I was thinking that he was predicting the shots because he heard me, but when I placed the recording on the replay, I haven't made any noise. He has seen me even through the collision. And by the way, I can also deal with that. They cannot kill me because of the collision. But the real and the major problem in the Scav aggro system in this game is the leaves in this game does not have the collision. And the player's eye cannot see through the leaves. But if the Scav can see you through the collision, they can most certainly see you through the objects without the collision. Which means if he's standing all the way on the end of the bushes, he's gonna kill you and you will have no idea from where the shots are coming from. And this is not the suggestion, this is how it is meant to be. They have to rework the tolerance of the flora that is affected by the aggro and the Scav sighting system in this game. And now let's take a suggestion part. So like I already said, the Scavs are spawning randomly on random locations and with a random number. But for example, if you're running Costumes, you know that on the starting area there is no Scavs, which means you can sprint without any problem. After you run few times, you know exactly where to slow down and when you have to turn your sound noise on the minimal. So my suggestion is the Scavs should be placed on the map randomly. It is gonna boost the RNG in this game. The experienced players that are fully geared and in the map will sometimes have a bad RNG, and on top of that, every match is gonna be different scenario. After you run the same map all over again, you know exactly where you have to position and how to clear every location. Thankfully, we have the timer in the game and we can check how long the match is gonna last, and you can easily predict where the new players are gonna be and where the skillful players are gonna be at a certain time. So my suggestion is remove the waves, spawn more Scavs on more locations. Oh, and by the way, you really need to rework the way how scavs are patrolling the area. Since scavs are scavengers, let them walk inside of the buildings. It is gonna be a lot harder, but much more intense. And by the way, I understand that this game is in alpha, and the things are gonna change. The scav system in this game is definitely gonna change, just because there is way too much people quitting the game because of the scavs, and the raging on the forums and on the Reddit. And on the end, I wanna talk about player scavs. So basically, how the scav system works in this game. It is really easy to spot the real player scav and the AI scav. Why? Because the movement of the AI scav is only horizontal, so they are moving their weapon only horizontally, not vertically. They start to use vertical movement when somebody gets the aggro, and when the player scav kills another scav, if the AI scavs are in the area, you're gonna start to be hostile towards them. Which means, if you spot the player scav and you are nowhere around the AI scav, you can kill him easily and nothing is gonna happen. You're gonna loot him up. And this is also a really big problem. And my suggestion is, no matter how far away you are from scav, if the player scav kills another scav, that is it, you are hostile towards them. I have one more suggestion though. When you play as a player scav, in 90% chances the player scav is gonna camp, for example costumes map, or the gas station, or the choke point where you have to go if you don't have the factory key. And by the way, you can play as a scav every 1 hour. And the equipment on your scav that you're gonna play is gonna be randomly generated. Which means the game can roll the dice that you have AK-47 with the attachments on. When you spawn as a scav, you're gonna spawn next to the exits. So it is really easy for you to camp, and you can just escape. You're gonna take the AK and that is it. So my suggestion is, as the bears and the USEC have to go all the way through the map and reach the end, make the same thing for the player scavs. Where the USEC and the bear are spawning, make the exit point for a scav. So they also have to go through the choke points. So basically, leave the 1 hour, leave the randomly generated gear, leave everything, just don't let them go out through the same escape point like the USEC and bear. And do you remember about my idea how I want scavs to be spawned all around the area? If you are playing as a scav, it is gonna be easier for you to predict where the USEC and the bear are because of the ragdolls on the floor. And right now I'm playing the clip for the end, and you're gonna see how crappy it is to spawn as a scav. And please tell me your thoughts about scav system in the Escape from Tarkov. And if you're new to this channel, subscribe and hit that bell button. It is gonna notify you for my new content that I'm trying to upload daily. Thanks guys for watching and see you in the next one. Eroktic out.
Gaga easy. Перезаряжаю, парни! Башка болит. Бухать надо меньше. Нормас, нормас. Охуенно сейчас поживимся.